Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Stand. We are going to come in here. Luckily, it looks like the draft's going to start ending here pretty soon. So, luckily, going to sneak in here to another fast puppy. Three wide receiver sets, one quarterback, two running back, one tight end, one flex. This is another best ball draft where we will see where we go in the get in the draft order, and obviously adjust our position from there. So here we go, guys. 20 seconds to pick. Very excited. We have what looks like the seventh or the 11th position. Why does that say seven? Oh, I don't know why it doesn't have me. All right. Pick number 11. Very interesting. So the past couple of drafts we did have the first overall pick earlier where we did go Christian McCaffrey, only because that's the only draft I do have Christian McCaffrey shares. And if he supposedly is the best running back in football, at least I'm going to have one draft where I have that player. Uh, the draft after, or yesterday, we ended up getting the second pick where we did go CD Lamb, but I was highly prepared if CD Lamb was already taken to take Amon-Ra St. Brown there in that second spot over Tyreek Hill, over Christian McCaffrey. I believe he is just one of the best receivers in this draft. Would love to obviously end up with him. Would need that 4, 5, 6 round pick maybe, or six pick maybe. But we're gonna see who falls here. 211 may adjust our draft strategy. I have very little Jameer Gibbs shares, so if we are able to get our wide receiver champion, may go ahead and get Jameer Gibbs as well, rather than the Marvin Harrison or Devontae Adams, who we've normally been going. But I will say, if we do to get top wide receiver and Marvin Harrison is still there, may go Marvin Harrison, just to be able to have him as that top wide receiver. But we are 5 picks away, and guys, the draft actually started off normal with Christian McCaffrey, but number 2 went Jamar Chase. Just a little bit different. CeeDee Lamb after that, Justin Jefferson before Tyreek Hill, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. Bijan Robinson from there. We are 3 picks away. I do love A.J. Brown. 2 picks away. I do love Jameer Gibbs. Marvin Harrison Jr. is there as well. And I think if this is going to be tough if A.J. Brown is there, just because I believe he's going to be the best wide receiver. But A.J. Brown is gone. So right now there are 2 players I love. I have them queued up. It's Jameer Gibbs. It's Marvin Harrison. I'm going to be uh, definitely going one of these routes. The only problem is I feel I will. If I go Jameer Gibbs, I'm going to lose out on Marvin Harrison. This is a draft, though, where I don't have any Jameer Gibbs. So I'm going to let this go ahead timeout. But since we have Jameer Gibbs queued up, he will be our pick here. If Marvin Harrison is that wide receiver champion, I would love it. I think this guy will probably go Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison. You see some of these other champions. What does Chris Olave say? No limitations on practice. I still believe in Devontae Adams over Drake London. Or actually, and here's the thing, guys. I have zero Drake London. I've been skipping out on Drake London. If Marvin Harrison is not here, I will take a chance on Drake London. But you know what, guys? Luckily for us, Marvin Harrison is there. I love it. I'm going to take a chance on this rookie. I believe what we could also do is pair him up with Kyler Murray later. So that does give us that option. We do have to make sure to hammer him in round 7, though. But we do get Marvin Harrison here. Now we start off our draft. This pick 11 start with Jameer Gibbs, Marvin Harrison. Gonna see how well I can balance this team. There's not really a lot of wide receivers I like necessarily in the third, fourth round, which is like I've always been preaching, guys. I've been going wide receiver here, just because in round 3, you could take more of possibly Kyron Williams or Derrick Henry or Isaiah Pacheco, which I think all 3 of those options are gonna be great. So we'll go ahead. This is gonna just balance our team a little bit more. Heck, with the best ball strategy that I love doing, I love locking up backfields. So as we probably pivot to some of these other positions, other players that may be there, like a David Montgomery, we'll go ahead and pair with Jameer Gibbs just to have the 1A, 1B there. Because Gibbs obviously is going to get a lot of PPR points. I just know Montgomery will more than likely get those touchdowns. So that's how we're thinking in this draft. And this is all just to back up. Obviously, you can go and get other guys who you think may be the playmakers, but we've seen the success from both of them, especially when they're in the game. And also having Jameer Gibbs last year, nothing was more frustrating than seeing David Montgomery just take away those touchdowns. So in this draft, if we can at least pair both of them, whenever that happens in the season, maybe I won't feel as bad. But we are 10 picks away from our pick. Since we've gone Marvin Harrison, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. From there, Debo Samuel, Devon Achane, Chris Olave, Nico Collins, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Brandon Ayuk, who obviously wants out of there, but with the hamstring injury, Ricky Pearsall, they're more than likely not going to move him, and he'll be good. Disgruntled, but good. DK Metcalf, Kyron Williams to start off round 3, Malik Neighbors, Derrick Henry after that, Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, Cooper Kupp. We are DJ Moore, 3 picks away. Obviously, there's some wide receivers right here. There's some tight ends who we like, I like. I may, if we go 2 picks right here and punt the tight end position until round 5, we're hoping for Mark Andrews or Trey McBride. Those would be my selections there. With round 2, I haven't got a lot of George Pickens shares. So I'm hoping George Pickens can. Oh, there's Jalen Hurts. That one was a queued up pick, but I would love to have at least some share of George Pickens on my team. Travis Kelce obviously is there. I love Travis Kelce, and not yesterday's draft, but I would always love to target Travis Kelce there in round 3. I am willing to take that risk of punting the running back position and hopefully landing a Zamir White later on in the draft to kind of help anchor my team. There's also some other ones like Jerome Ford, obviously Jonathan Brooks later on. Oh, we're back on. So Travis Kelce is there. Josh Allen is still there. Guys, I think we would definitely just back up our team if we have a playmaker and running back such as Isaiah Pacheco. 2 stout running backs, 2 stout wide receivers. I think we're in a pretty good spot. The guy who actually did have the 2 picks before, he did go Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers. Obviously wanted that stack. Right now, it does look like I will be picking before him. Don't know if Mark Andrews will fall to me. Obviously, that would be our pick here because obviously with him knowing that stack, he's more than likely targeting Mark Andrews in that position. Going to come here. Obviously, there's Dalton Kincaid, the young buck. You can go ahead, take a chance on him. Anthony Richardson, all systems go, especially with us waiting on a quarterback. There's a good chance he could possibly fall. Other good wide receivers. What's the latest on Joe Mixon? He's experiencing a hamstring issue, which that, guys, is a red flag, especially in the training camp. So, wow, Joe Mixon, we did get a couple shares in the past. Right now, off the board. 13 picks away. Josh Allen just went. Travis Kelce before. ETN before that. Wide receivers we missed on were Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, T. Higgins. After Josh Allen went, Patrick Mahomes. So definitely have those top quarterbacks off the mark, and right now you're taking the guesses on who's going to make that jump, like Anthony Richardson. Will he stay healthy? And if he does, he will be a monster. CJ Stroud has all the weapons in the world. Will he take that jump? Kyler Murray, everyone is talking about, will be ultimate joystick playmaker this year. So, Alvin Kamara reported for training camp. That we'll go ahead and start. Alvin Kamara, thank you, Alvin, for showing up. But yeah, so there's obviously going to be options there at the quarterback. We definitely don't want to sleep too late, especially looking like down here. Dak Prescott is being slept on. Our last Hail Mary is actually going to be Jaden Daniels if we had to, Jordan Love. But at least there are going to be some quarterback options where we should be safe. But it's those boom games that you're looking for from these joystick quarterbacks or Madden quarterbacks, of rushing quarterbacks. Those are the guys that are just going to help elevate and take your team to the next level. So right now, there's not really tight ends that I am necessarily all excited for. Maybe George Kittle, he'll get you some of those boom games. You may be a little disappointed for some, but he could be a good pick later on. We're 3 picks away. Would love Anthony Richardson as that quarterback. Oh, and for another reason too is not necessarily knowing if Kyler Murray is going to be there. If Anthony Richardson does get taken before us, may go ahead and take the shot at getting Kyler Murray 1 round here. And if my 2 picks are Chris Godwin, Kyler Murray, or Chris Godwin, Anthony Richardson, and not necessarily worry about the stack, then that will allow to get someone of like Keon Coleman, Alvin Kamara, and George Kittle. We get to take that pick. So I'm not going to worry about the stack here. I'm going to go ahead and take the playmaker and Anthony Richardson, who everyone thinks is going to take the jump. And right now, in this other position, I could take George Kittle. I could... You know what? There's a lot more tight ends who I think we can actually somewhat be safe on or choose. George Kittle would make this just a top team. Kyler Murray makes it. I'm going double quarterback, guys. I'm doing that because for the tight end position, as much as George Kittle would have been nice, have some of those boom games, there are other positions here that will fall. Jake Ferguson would be a home run pick for me. David Njoku is a beast. He's going to obviously just handle this season like he did last. There's some other ones here. Of course, Evan Ingram's PPR monster. They definitely were trying to get him, the record last year. So if there's somehow in 18 picks, Jake Ferguson still possibly there, especially looking at the guy who's in between. He already does have one tight end. He went Dalton Kincaid. Pretty good balance. The next round coming up, where we will be picking, will be round 7. In round 7, this is where certain individuals are who we like to take. Now, even though Alvin Kamara is there, David Montgomery is a little higher on my list purely because of Jahmyr Gibbs. There's a good chance none of those guys are actually going to be there in this spot since we are 11 picks away. So 7, 14, we'll actually be picking more here to where we're hoping Jake Ferguson will be there. Or heck, Keon Coleman. I would gladly take Keon Coleman. You could also take chance on Jonathan Brooks, who will start the season slow, but will probably be a great asset later on in the year. Raheem Mostert, who has the coach's support, has told where everyone still says he is the top guy. There goes David Montgomery. Guy went all wide receivers. Chase, Ayuk, Neighbors, Brown, Watson, Rasheed White, David Montgomery. Okay, you're going to have the PPR magic of catches and then the touchdown production from David Montgomery. So that guy really pieced his team well there. Loading up on a lot of wide receivers as well. We're pretty balanced here in the stat that the fact that, one, we got 2 stud running backs, luckily with 2 different buys. So now we just need to kind of find that third one where if he has a different buy as well, which Zamir White would kind of be my hope here in round 10, that would just be awesome. 2 picks away. There goes Evan Ingram. I'm going to take a chance that some of these guys don't have tight ends, or the ones that already have tight ends are not going to choose a tight end, especially with Franco already having Dalton Kincaid. He does need a running back, though. For me, Zamir White is the dog. And then we get a great third running back with a different bye. And then where now all we got to do, especially, we don't lock up Detroit, but how I like to lock up other positions with Isaiah Pacheco, easily get Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the last rounds, Zamir White, easily get Alexander Madison in the later rounds as well. So we're hoping for Jake Ferguson here. Raheem Mostert would be awesome. Wow. All right, guys. I think I'm really going to punt the tight end position because I really like Raheem Mostert. And with us basically missing out on the top guys, that's one position where, especially in best ball, we can punt. We can find those guys later who are going to score the touchdown. The Hunter Henrys of the world. There goes Jake Ferguson. Let me see here. Oh, look. He went Kincaid and Ferguson. 2, 3. And Hurts. Not bad. Not bad, Rondo. Rajon Rondo. Veteran of the game. So you can see how he was building out his squad. We are 16 picks away. Obviously, our lightest positions right now are wide receiver and tight end. Was hoping Keon Coleman would have been able to fall to us. Went a couple picks before. But right here, this is where a lot of good running back value is still there. I mean, heck, just like off the board, Jonathan Brooks, DeAndre Swift, Zach Moss. Going to start going down and queuing some guys, especially since we are at least 13 picks away. Low Trey Benson, another good tight end, and Dallas Goedert. Previous drafts been targeting Blake Corum only because we have been ending up with Kyron Williams. Since we don't have Kyron Williams, obviously we will not be targeting him as heavily. Queuing up some of these tight ends, though. I think we're going to be pretty solid. The only problem is, obviously, is we only have 2 wide receivers. So hoping a couple of guys can fall to us. There's not really a lot here that excites you. I mean, yeah, maybe Tyler Lockett, but he at least went there. So it's one of those where we could lean on our top two guys, build out a lot of rookie wide receivers from there. So if we already had our top two picks, and then there, and have. All right, we're 2 picks away. Dak Prescott, Njoku, Shaheed. Njoku would be a beast for our first tight end. The only problem there is, we're then taking a chance on Shaheed not being there. I mean, this guy, Njoku, I'm surprised he did not go Prescott. There's Shaheed, there's Trey Benson, there's Dallas Goedert. I'm a fan of Trey Benson. I think he's going to be the dog. In this position of running back, I think we're locked and loaded. If this guy doesn't take Dak Prescott, I kind of want to take Dak Prescott only because I know the guy behind me desperately needs a quarterback. And I'd much rather have him. And there goes Goddard, too. So that's the thing. It's like, with best ball, how I'm thinking this more of a strategy, taking on the points, taking on, locking in certain positions. We're going to punt, but as you can see scrolling down, the next tight ends available are going to be pretty much here where we're going to be picking. So if we do get a shot at double tight end, Dalton Schultz, Pat Freiermuth, I'd be happy with. Gear is probably pissed because I know he needs a quarterback and was probably banking on Dak Prescott there. He's punting that quarterback position, though. Definitely getting these other playmakers. So Puka, Saquon ended up filling out these going Sam Laporta that third, then filling out those wide receivers. It's just interesting to see how guys fill out their roster. Obviously, we have a ways. So just how most people, especially in best ball, how they started off is you can see a lot of wide receiver combo. You have one double running back with Bijan and A-Chain. But then number one wide receiver is DJ Moore, who's in that three-headed monster of roulette in Chicago with a rookie quarterback. T. Higgins, who is the wide receiver 2 in Cincinnati with a quarterback coming back from a wrist injury, who's best friends and favored with the wide receiver 1 in front of him. Jaden Reed, who right now is in a pack of 4. Some people think he's the one. Some people think it's Christian Watson. Xavier Worthy, the rookie, he's got some highlights, there. Keon Coleman, who, guess what, I actually love. I think he is the one alpha. Brock Bowers. I mean, this guy's taking rookie tight end, a chance there. All anchored by Jordan Love, though, who's probably going to throw for 4,000 yards. Paired him up with Dontavian Wicks. You got a Green Bay fan or a Green Bay stack happening there. Jaden Reed, Jordan Love, Dontavian Wicks. I'm pretty sure Luke Musgrave will more than likely be a target of his as well. Looking at the tight ends, obviously Freiermuth goes in this, so we're just hoping maybe we can possibly get Schultz. This guy needs a tight end, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets Schultz. Seven picks away. Still, guys, this is crazy. 6 picks away, and look at here in round 11. Still a starting running back in Zeke Elliott. We're in best ball. He's going to get you touchdowns. That's all you should care and matter about. Jared Goff, who is going to be playing in turf in domes all season. Jerome Ford, who is the starting running back in Cleveland, especially with the news of Nick Chubb being put on the pup today. It's wild how some of those guys are still there and other people are still choosing, the Chase Browns, or perhaps the Austin Eckler, which Brian Robinson is the 1A there. We are 2 picks away. Mike Williams. Jared Goff. I mean, this guy's probably going to go double running back. Going to get Jerome Ford, guys. I'm not backing up any position. I'm looking at next to us. I'm playing the ADP game that this guy isn't going to get Dalton Schultz. So he goes Kirk Cousins and see if he needs a running back instead of Schultz. If he goes Schultz, then we played that one wrong, obviously. But instead, he goes Zeke Elliott, which I knew he needed a running back. So Dalton Schultz is at least going to be our pick here. We have our running back position depth locked and loaded. Those are all great names here in fantasy. Wide receiver position, we're anchoring it right now with Marvin Harrison and George Pickens. It's now going to be a game of these 1, 2, 3, 4. What was it? These next 6 picks of who we choose for our wide receiver. And we may hit on some, we may hit on none, but this is why we play. This is why it's 18 rounds. So you can pick who you want. And so looking here, guys, how I always balance the roster, 3 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. We have our first 2 positions of quarterback and running back locked and loaded. Wide receiver, we're going to have to fill out. And tight ends, we now have 1 of 3, which I feel we were highly lucky that Dalton Schultz ended up falling to us. A lot of weapons on the receiving end, but with CJ Stroud slinging it, I believe we have a decent, solid pick right there. On our turn back, I mean, we're hoping for maybe a Luke Musgrave, take that 2-year jump. Hunter Henry is going to catch the touchdowns because that's what he does. He just catches touchdowns. From there, though, there's not really a whole lot of options. So I think we're going to have to look at these next couple picks. What's Hawkinson doing? Well, look at that. Musgrave, Henry, the 2 guys we were hoping to target go. Hawkinson to be placed on PUP list. Noah Fant to re-sign on a 2-year, $21 million deal. Let me tell you guys, there's one thing you have to always do, and I believe you follow the money. So, with that being said, and with the guy behind us already having 5 wide receivers, he's probably going to get more. The only problem is here, they already took Jermaine Burton anyway, so that's who we were somewhat hoping. Ricky Pearsall with the hamstring injury, that's okay. But look, guys, still Jaleel McLaughlin. Bet he has eyes of an angel. Probably not the same artist. Matthew Stafford. All right, guys. Well, we need some tight ends. There's not really a lot after this. TJ Hawkinson on the pup. Noah Fant just got re signed. This is where I believe you have to follow the money and at least in some somewhat safe production. There's other guys here we can possibly target. Kate Otten, having that connection with Baker Mayfield. I mean, had 47 receptions. What is it? Johnny Smith. He did sign. Tyler Conklin, 3 straight years of 87 targets. And TJ Hawkinson to be placed on PUP. According to head coach. Well ahead of his recovery date. All right. Well, we're going to take a shot with TJ Hawkinson here. We're going to take him. We already have 2 tight ends. TJ Hawkinson is purely there for that late round playoff push if he can get on the field. It says he's ahead of schedule. We're hoping he comes back. Him and Justin Jefferson can possibly do something in the later year. So guess what? Now our whole goal, looking at this roster, guys, is to smash this wide receiver position. Definitely slept on it. There's some other guys we didn't get that we could have got some value on. A lot of people don't like Adam Thielen, but he'll give you maybe 6 games. Looking here, Roman Wilson can definitely use him to back up George Pickens. But Pitt's not going to do there. Young, exciting rookie in Troy Franklin. There's some other guys here that are going to give you some points. Marvin Mims, I believe, punt returner, so could get you a couple scores. Need to do some more research on Malachi Corley. Some of these other guys. Tyler Boyd, though, wide receiver 3. Some rookies on who will possibly end up just taking that step, that next step, that jump. Odell's still hurt. Kendrick Bourne to be placed on PUP list. Well, that's a bummer 21 hours ago because he tore his ACL season. Nunez, more receiver last year. Jay Polk there. The rookies. That is wild how Juju Smith-Schuster is still on a roster and just seeing that name. Well, big bummer about Kendrick Bourne. Here's the thing. With us taking him literally in the last pick of a lot of our drafts, just knowing that kind of like the chance we took on Hawkinson, we're going to have to wait for him with later on production. But that allows us to attack and hammer these, New England rookie wide receivers who are more than likely going to step up in that place. Demarcus Robinson. Let's see, Javon Baker. Obviously, Jalen Polk. Went. Zay Jones, who just got signed. All right, 3 picks away. Had a lot of players kind of come out here. Yeah, there goes Roman Wilson, who we wanted. I mean, of course. Rashad Bateman, though, guys, that's something I missed out on. Round 12. Wow, he is moving up the boards. We luckily have gotten a lot of Rashad Bateman shares in some of our earlier drafts. But with the news that he's going to take that jump, there's going to be a lot. We're more than likely going to be missing out on him from there. So we're going to take the shot on some of these rookies. Troy Franklin, connection with Bo Nix. Hoping it's there. Hoping it shines through. There's a McCaffrey. There's a McCaffrey sighting. But it's Luke. Hmm. We'll be going Javon Baker here, with us targeting Kendrick Bourne later on, and the news of him going on the pup. I at least would love someone there who could possibly be in that space. 19 picks away. We are obviously going to be hammering this wide receiver position with whoever can fall to us. And with this being the 16th round, that means we're 2 picks left in this draft. So really appreciate it again, you guys, being here, following along, checking out this draft, checking out this best ball strategy. Obviously, my first official shares of Jahmyr Gibbs, which I personally love. Definitely took a different approach going running back, wide receiver, going back to running back and making sure we get Isaiah Pacheco, or actually going George Pickens and then going and getting Isaiah Pacheco. That to me is a really well balanced team. I believe George Pickens will take that jump. That's my bet, my hope, if you will. But this is also too one of the only drafts where I have George Pickens, especially relying on him so much in that wide receiver 2 role. I believe in some past drafts I may have gotten him as a wide receiver 3, which is kind of crazy, especially to see how the year will end. But we have a lot of playmakers here that could possibly take us to the top. Our tight end position, though, very light. Dalton Schultz, Noah Fant, they're not going to win you your weeks. You're just hoping to put somewhat of a consistent production and get some few points about him. Maybe when TJ Hawkinson comes back, we'll get that higher spikes, but even then he's going to be eased in, which, like, again, we're drafting this in best ball, just not in redraft, to where we don't have to worry about starting anyone in the week. It's just who scores the points. They're going to be in those positions. So most of the time, this is why I spend up on the Mark Andrews, or not necessarily, I'm not saying I'm not a Dalton Kincaid believer. I just don't know if he's going to be as good as everyone says he's going to be. So if I'm putting that position in a redraft and it gets to that tier, I may go ahead, take that jump or take that leap of faith and essentially relying on other people hyping up this player. But we're 2 picks away. I don't know why I just starred Luke McCaffrey. That's purely a McCaffrey name, thinking that he's somewhat going to stand out here. I mean, or if we're 2 picks away, I mean, if we can somehow land Tyler Boyd, Jalen Hyatt's going into year 2, maybe he can take that jump. There goes Tyler Boyd. And so this is hard. We'll go, man. I didn't like that pick at all. But if we're talking drafts where we have players that maybe, something happens to Terry McLaurin, who is concussion prone, or Jahan Dotson just maybe doesn't take that jump. In Washington, it is an air raid offense with Cliff Kingsbury there. Maybe, Caffrey's a little slot guy. He just kind of gets those touches, those grabs that Ladd McConkey is apparently going to be in. And with our last pick to fill out our last wide receiver role, even though just announced that he's going to start the year off in the pup, still listed technically as one of the top wide receivers. And we're going to see if maybe a rookie will step up in either the Polk or, Baker. So Interesting draft here. I appreciate you guys at least following along for this episode 14, I believe, where we were able to do another draft, and I'm hoping we'll be able to get one more in. I know the Fast Puppy is closing in, or is at least almost filled, so hopefully Underdog will be able to put up a couple more of those drafts as well as the more affordable ones. It just allows us to kind of go in and have fun. And as I love drafting, love mocking, getting ready for my own personal drafts, this is just perfect practice. One, to put a little bit of money in it. I mean, heck, guys, for Underdog Fantasy, I at least always, try to do $10 a week, and then, kind of throw that in here when funds get low, or all that's left are the higher ones. We'll definitely hop back in the Fantasy Pros Draft Wizard and start doing some mock drafts from there, which I personally love, because not only can we just kind of run through one, heck, we can run through two, run through a couple. So really appreciate you guys being here. We're just waiting for this last pick. We picked from the 11 spot. And in that 11 spot, ended up going Jahmyr Gibbs number 1 with Marvin Harrison Jr. number 2. Took the jump or leap of faith on George Pickens in round 3 rather than going a tight end, which I would normally do, of possibly Travis Kelce. That's who has been my smash play. But we decided to punt that position, try to go as well balanced as we can, which kind of looking at this core wide receiver starting core of Marvin Harrison and George Pickens, filling out those 2 wide receiver spots. We definitely punted this position, and we're hoping one of these other 4 can just get us some points in that three spot there. The next draft I do actually may go, like I said, I've always been going wide receiver, may go 3 straight wide receivers just to get 3 studs there in that 3rd spot, and possibly see who's there. Maybe even Amari Cooper, someone else, around that even if it's just like a Calvin Ridley or so. I've always been taking the chance on Keon Coleman landing there. He actually won a few picks before, so if we would have got Keon Coleman at that 3rd spot, I would feel a lot more confident in this roster, especially with us punting the tight end position and having to lean on Dalton Schultz and Noah Fant, really. T.J. Hawkinson ended up kind of following, and with with him being on the pup, it's just, can he get us some points later on in the year? Other than that, though, guys, our 2 strongest positions obviously are quarterback and running back. Got some great rushing QBs there, and Dak Prescott, who is going to put up statistically just some great numbers, especially if you believe in CeeDee Lamb, which everyone does, which is why he's the number 1 ranked wide receiver this year. So with our quarterback room, Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray for that Marvin Harrison stack, Dak Prescott, we are solid. All of them had different buys. All of them are going to pretty much save us this year. Running back wise, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, Zamir White as our running back 3, and Raheem Mostert for that first bench position. I mean, Trey Benson after that, who we believe James Conner is going to eventually break down, and Jerome Ford, who, we got him around like 11 or so. It's crazy. He's the starting running back. Deviated away from my strategy of always backing up a core, so obviously Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Zamir White, Alexander Madison, Raheem Mostert, could have went that, is it Jalen Wright, I believe is the guy there. And Jerome Ford. Could have gone Deontay Foreman, just to help shore up, just in case he steals away from touchdowns over the year. But really appreciate you guys following along. Been averaging around this 2,900. When we finally break the 3, we'll let you know. Obviously, with me going a little bit more balance, it's kind of been settling a little bit here. So appreciate this again, guys, or you following along. Episode 14. Hope to bring you another draft. If it's not on Underdog Fantasy, we'll bring you some mock drafts on Draft Wizard. But appreciate it again. You guys take care, and we'll see you again next time for episode 15. Later, guys.